Welcome back to Unlock, Empower, Transform. I'm Che Blackmon, and today we're diving into something that's been completely transformed by our hybrid work reality, the Employee Roundtable. You know those meetings where everyone's supposed to share openly, but half the room is checking emails while the other half is worried about saying the wrong thing? Yeah, we're fixing that today. Because when done right, roundtables become the secret weapon for building trust in distributed teams. Let me paint you a picture of the typical corporate roundtable. You've got random employees pulled together, usually dominated by a few loud voices, while others sit silently, counting the minutes until they can escape back to their desks. Add in virtual participants who are basically invisible, and you've got a recipe for wasted time and missed opportunities. I've seen round tables that were nothing more than complaint sessions disguised as feedback opportunities. There was a manufacturing company I observed where these meetings had devolved into monthly gripe-fests. Employees would show up, complain about the same issues, supervisor favoritism, inconsistent policies, then leave feeling even more frustrated because nothing ever changed. The problem wasn't the concept of round tables, it was the execution. These companies were missing the foundational element that makes any team interaction successful: psychological safety. In Chapter 3 of High Value Leadership, I share a case study about transforming dysfunctional roundtables into engines of innovation. The key? Understanding that psychological safety isn't just a nice to have, it's the bedrock of high performance teams. Psychological safety means people feel secure enough to take risks, make mistakes, and speak up without fear of punishment or humiliation. In hybrid environments, where you're juggling in person and remote participants, creating this safety becomes even more critical and infinitely more complex. Think about it. Your remote team members are literally sitting alone in their homes, trying to read the room through a screen. They can't pick up on the subtle body language cues. They miss the pre meeting chatter that builds rapport. They're essentially operating with one hand tied behind their back when it comes to gauging whether it's safe to speak up. So, how do we revolutionize the roundtable for hybrid teams? Through what I call the UNITE framework. And yes, I know another framework, but stick with me because this one actually works. You understand the current state. Before you can build trust, you need to know where you're starting. What are the existing dynamics? Who dominates conversations? Who never speaks up? What topics are taboo? N, neutralize power dynamics. This is crucial in hybrid settings. The CEO's presence shouldn't silence the junior analyst. Structure your roundtables to minimize hierarchy. Consider rotating facilitators, using anonymous input tools, or breaking into smaller groups. I include intentionally hybrid inclusion requires deliberate action. It's not enough to just turn on the camera. Actively call on remote participants first. Use their names. Reference their previous contributions. Make them feel seen, not just present. T. Track and follow through. Nothing destroys trust faster than asking for input and then ignoring it. Document every action item. Assign owners. Set deadlines. And here's the kicker: actually follow up. E. Evolve continuously. Your roundtables should mature over time. What starts as addressing basic concerns should evolve into strategic discussions and innovation sessions. Let me share how this actually played out in one organization. They started with roundtables that were, frankly, a mess. Complaints about supervisor favoritism, policy inconsistencies, even violations of agreements, classic dysfunction. But here's what changed everything. The plant manager didn't just show up, he championed these meetings. He scheduled them in advance, made attendance a priority, and most importantly, he acted on the feedback. Within 18 months, those same roundtables transformed completely. Instead of complaints about supervisors, employees were discussing tuition reimbursement and career advancement. Instead of pointing out problems, they were proposing process improvements and quality initiatives. The difference? Leadership commitment combined with systematic follow-through. Every session ended with documented action items. Every action item had an owner and a deadline. And, this is critical, they reconvened the same groups to report on progress. For hybrid teams, this means being even more intentional. Use collaborative documents that everyone can see in real time. Record sessions for those who can't attend. Create digital spaces for ongoing dialogue between meetings. Here's something you can implement tomorrow. I call it the trust temperature check, and it's perfect for hybrid teams. At the start of your next team meeting, whether it's a roundtable or a regular check-in, ask everyone to rate the team's trust level on a scale of 1 to 10. But here's the twist. Use an anonymous digital poll that displays results in real time. Then ask one follow-up question. What's one thing we could do to move that number up by 1 point? Collect responses anonymously. Then discuss the top 3 suggestions as a group. The anonymity removes fear of retribution. The real-time results create shared awareness, and focusing on incremental improvement, just 1 point, makes change feel achievable. This simple exercise does 3 things. It makes the invisible visible, it gives everyone a voice regardless of their location, and it creates collective ownership of trust building. At Che Blackmon Consulting, we've developed specific strategies for hybrid team engagement that go beyond the typical cameras on mandate. We focus on what I call purposeful presence, ensuring every interaction has clear value for participants. No more meetings that could have been emails, no more roundtables where half the people wonder why they're there. We also emphasize cascading accountability, where follow-through isn't just top-down but peer-to-peer. When team members hold each other accountable for commitments made in roundtables, you create a culture of mutual responsibility. And perhaps most importantly, we recognize that building psychological safety in hybrid environments requires different muscles. It's not just about being vulnerable. It's about creating structures that make vulnerability possible across physical and digital spaces. Look, transforming roundtables from time wasters to trust builders isn't magic. It's methodology. It requires intention, structure, and most importantly, genuine commitment to acting on what you hear. If you're ready to dive deeper into building psychological safety for your teams, download the Shield Resilience Strategy Guide at cheblackmon.com. You'll find specific protocols for creating emotional safety, including team-building exercises that actually work for hybrid environments. Drop a comment below. What's the biggest challenge you face in building trust with your hybrid team? Let's problem solve together. And join me Thursday when we're tackling a sacred cow. Performance reviews are dead. What high-value leaders do instead. Trust me, you'll never look at annual reviews the same way again. Until then, remember, psychological safety isn't built in a day, but it can be destroyed in a moment. Choose to build, choose to protect, choose to transform. This is Che Blackmon reminding you that transformation isn't just possible, it's profitable.